Like when you see somebody afflicted, and like people on the street would be shaking and sweating and going to and fro and can't think like a pig, right?
Yeah.
Right. So and so, which is why when the demons was in that guy, Jesus put him out the guy into the pigs, drove the pigs off the cliff. Right. So, and then which is why when he called the lady a dog, she really had the spirit of a dog. People say, oh well, it's because she was Samaritan and they, but when you go back to at the beginning when she was there too, right? Because the word was always with the Lord, right? And the word created it all, right? And so when we talking about this, and we know that all the spirits that Satan was using, that was used with the serpent's blood, which is full of wisdom and knowledge, right? And he was able to make apparitions and things in people of clay. They took 200 animals.
Yeah.
They took 200 animals where the bloodline, and you start getting more. They took 200 animals and manipulated them, right? And then they had to mix them later on to make them big enough for the giants that was produced, so they can have food for them. Which we get. Then you start getting dinosaurs of intelligence and large dinosaurs, right? But to narrow it back down, to go back to the beginning. All these apparitions, so the people that came out the water, what do you think they was made with?
What?
Those reptilians. Right? People out of the water, those reptilians. Right? Then you had Lilith come, and I believe that she was made with dog. Right? So then you had all these other things that came out the forest to the sea, but Satan made them all look like humans. And we know this because even they tell them, said, yeah, they just look like that. He told them, he said, they only just look like that to you, but they don't really look like that. But one time he drugged Satan as the serpent, the one who's in the garden, not the one that's in the chaotic waters, the Leviathan. This is another version of him, the one that's in the garden. And he drugged him to Adam, and he looked like an angel. You would think two angels come through the garden, right? But then he unveiled how he really looked, and then he was hideous. Now you see to Adam and Eve that looked like beautiful humans, right? But it was really animals. Raw, filthy, horny animals, right? And this is, so okay. So now you know that these apparitions coming to Adam and Eve look like people but are animals. When you get to Revelations, you talk about the beasts of Revelations. I see these, and there's a beast and there's a beast. These are actual inside beasts. We see them as, we're going to see them as kings.
Yeah.
But they're going to be actual beasts. It's like you got actual reptilians that we see as humans. So, because what would a reptilian of the serpent knowledge be able to do if they're in the same family as a chameleon? Well, a chameleon could look like a tree and you could walk right past it and not see it. What do you think an actual knowledgeable, conscious being can do? Like, look like you. You know what I mean? Or something like you. Right? Cloak devices and all this other stuff, right? Like yeah, and so with all these different beings, so now you can see I don't know if you heard the mythos of the dog man, and like I know you heard of Bigfoot, right? Counts. All the counts come from Edom, which is Esau. The first counts, Count Dracula, all this stuff like that, the vampires, yeah, right? So you ever heard the show Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Okay, now one of the girls' name in that show was Petra. Petra is the city of Eden. And then you know it's Eden because they live in the mountains of the rocks, and they built in the rocks. So the tabernacles. So like we see the Washington Monument and all this, the presidents and the stones and stuff like that. That's all Eden. You know that's Eden. You know that's Esau. We know Eden is because Edom. I keep saying Eden. Edom. We know Edom is. We know what Edom is because Edom became Rome. Esau was born in the same womb as us. Came out red and hairy, ate raw meat, lived in the mountains. Right? And he lived in a place called Edom, and then Edom became Rome. Right? So when they was in Edom back in the day, they made it with the giants, they made it with the bestiality, because what I told you, what would come to them, what apparitions would come to them too? Animal apparitions in the wilderness. God needed to lead Moses and all of them through the wilderness because crazy things come at you through the wilderness. And so they was in the mountains and they was mating with all that stuff. eating red meat with them and everything like that, eating the giants, bestiality. That's where you get Bigfoot from and all those the babies of them, right? And so, and that's later on in the bloodline. But the point here is to show you that Satan appeared to you as many things. He appeared to Adam as many things, many things. He even threw a big comet at him. And guess what God did with the comet when Adam was asleep? He made it a dome around him, dome of the rock. And there's also another cave where Abel and Cain was born at, which is, I believe, is the cave that they use and call it the Middle East. They call it the cave. I think that's believed that this cave where they killed the Lord at. Then the cave of treasures. I think it's the same cave they killed the Lord at. And that dome of rock where he threw at Adam is right there too. And they worship that. Sin is the father of Ishtar. And sin is the astral belt, the dark matter around Ishtar, around the moon. And they believe that fell to earth. And that dark matter is actually what's in that stone that in Muslims they walk around. There's dark matter in that stone. And that dark matter is called sin. Another name for sin is Allah. And his daughter is Alat, which is Ishtar. Another name for her is Mary. And who do the Muslims kings say they're married to spiritually? Ishtar, Isis, any Mary, Catherine, any of those names, they say they're married to spirit. They might have a wife in the flesh, but they say they're married to spiritually. It will be literally the Catholic queen in many different names. And you know how Greek mythology go into the Iranians? Because it's called Persia, because Persia is the one who conquered it. That's Greek mythology, right?
Yeah.
But people think Greek mythology is false, right? Matter of fact, I told you, after the flood, Gilgamesh goes and visits Utnapishtim. And Utnapishtim is Noah. Okay, right? And actually it's so funny because Gilgamesh had a mating, a buddy they put with him called Enkidu, who was half human and he was like a centaur, a mentor, or whatever, a minotaur, right? Later on in, what was it? It wasn't Medes, it was below Cyprus, where they had the Minotaur games down there. They used to feed people to the Minotaur. You know the movie The Labyrinth, or the Maze Runner?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something real, based off real life, when they would sacrifice people to the maze, and the Minotaur was a man with a bull head would run and get them, or whatever. So now you give you the element, you see how you see these animals in people, right? Then you see the walls of Egypt. You see the walls of Egypt, they try to do the same thing there, right? All the Sumerians and all the beginning worshipings was the worship of animals. The owl, the goat, right? You see, I keep going. The cat, because you know, Ishtar represented the Sphinx. She represented the cat people. So it's another thing. It's called the Lyrian-Orion War, the war between the reptilians and the Lyrian people. And the Lyrian was like ligers and cats. And I think you even had the eagle people in there, like the last movie Transformers. How they brought the eagle transformer and the monkey and everything. Okay, now let's go back. Let's go back. I'm just connecting a few things to go back to how we get the chaotic spirits being animals and why that's actually very important. We're going to hear that everybody is not humans. So just like he was telling Adam, bro, everybody ain't humans. Matter of fact, the first adultery was bestiality. Do not go and mate with those things down there, with them down there. They're not what you think, right? Okay, so now you had someone from after Cain and Abel, Cain go off. Now you got Cain out there in the wilderness too, and he's mating with them too, right? Okay, so now you got actually blood from a form of Antichrist mating with the serpent seed, right? And the apparition that you got out there, all the raw, animal, chaotic, horny spirits, right? This is where you get Homo erectus from, right? And then you have already, remember, Satan already told Adam he got kingdoms of people out there, right? Okay, things out there that he made, humans and stuff like that, right? So you got all that out there. After Cain and Abel, you get Seth to replace Abel, right? And then the children of Seth Now, man, they still all called angels because God commune with them. Now, the children of Seth, they keep going down to look at down the mountain. Now, you got to remember, the children of Seth ain't, this is two generations. They ain't been through the same thing Adam went through so heavily, where Satan kept coming and killing him and tempting him in all these different forms, as animals, as things in the sky. And so what he was showing us, what they was showing us in that book, though, if they kept that book in, the reason why they had to take it out is because if we kept this book in, we would know all the ways that Satan approaches us, all the ways that he try to come in the form of light. He try to come as something in the sky. He try to come as an animal to harm you. That's why we end up getting even more leverage with the animals, because of Satan. Like, we already named them, they already supposed to harm us, but we even got more leverage because, remember, he manipulated animals. So we even got protection over them too, when he started coming to try to harm Adam with those animals. Adam didn't know they know how to eat, they know how to drink, they know what sex was, they know how to do none of that stuff like that. So nobody can say that, oh, he had sex with Eve. No, he possessed her. When she was eating apple, he was in the food. You know, you eat fruits with parasites in them? Okay, that's it. So now, when she has Cain, that's why she's now going through birth, and that's why she had pain. That's where the pain comes from. Because where did pain come from? You see what I'm saying? It would come from the first pain would come from the serpent. All the first pains came from the serpent, because he kept showing, God kept coming to say, hey, look, you was in the garden once, and I had you clothed. You ain't had to worry about no food. You ain't had to worry about no hunger. You ain't had to worry about no thirst. Though you can eat and drink of the good sweetness that was in it, you had to worry about none of that stuff. And now look, he promised you these things, and look what he do. Every time he leads you, he leaves you, and he beats you, and deceives you, and he kills you and destroys you. Every single time it takes away from you. I didn't do none of those things to you. So he kept showing them that, like, you keep going down these paths, and every time you go down these paths, he promised you all this glory and all this stuff like that. He leads you astray, and then he leaves you. And now you have nothing, and you're sick, and you're struggling, and you're cold, and you're out in the rain, and you never knew what rain was. Like, you see what I'm saying? You never knew what night was. It was afraid of the darkness. Yeah. Like, you never knew what night, like, right? So he had to walk him through all that.